fancies himself as a thug jiu-jitsu fighter.
Yeah, I see that he's at a pound for pound now. I know when they first fought, Rego was fighting at a Factory X, so it's exciting to see what adjustments he's made to his game working with the pound for pound crew.
This will be his first fight out of the pound for pound camp. He had his last fight, I believe I want to say it was October, where he picked up a first round heel hook victory and then switched camps right after that fight.
I mean, being with pound for pound, I'm assuming he's worked on his striking a lot.
You would have to think so.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Funny here, it says, why do you fight? Rego said, I got a big mouth.
If you know it, at least you understand that you got to have something to be in the back of it.
Yeah, I like it though, because he's honest, you know?
It's a breath of fresh air when we have someone who's at least willing to admit it.
Favorite martial arts movie, show, DBZ, man. The Dragon Ball Z has gotten so many people into fighting, including myself. So that's kind of cool to see.
Certainly. He's a kid who loves sports all the way around too. He's a big basketball fan, loves the Chicago Bulls. I mean, granted, if you're a kid who came up out of Chicago and you lived any bit of the 90s, it's kind of hard not to.
Yeah.
But he is one who, he likes to go in there and mix it up and have himself a little bit of a back and forth affair.
Yeah, he's got a lot of amateur accolades too. I mean, he was a Fury champion, an MCF champion, so a lot of accolades coming with this guy.
Certainly. And then on the flip side, he's got a very tough opponent who is ready to go out there and follow up that first effort with the PKO. We have Juan Rosales, the 28-year-old coming out of Lakewood. I know you have a ton of time and experience with Juan, so I'll let you definitely sell in as best as possible. But Juan's a kid he's trained his whole life too.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of being able to call Juan's very first fight a few years ago. And it's great being able to see these guys grow through the amateur ranks, and then now he's in here as a pro for us.
Yeah, he's been at Genesis since he was a kid, since he was a young kid. I was 12 years old. He started training. He's been with Coach Jake, so he's been there. He's one of the first guys, you know, to come up with a Genesis squad. So a lot of experience and a exciting fighter. He's one of the hardest workers in the gym. Sometimes it hasn't shown in the cage necessarily all the time, but he's got a bright future ahead of him. I'm excited for this fight, and yeah, let's see what he does today.
Certainly, and I'll say this, Art, from the very beginning when he had his very first amateur fight, Micah Haas has sold this kid like he is the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
So, I think that it also helps. So when you have a training partner who is in that same weight class, who is all in on you, and
yeah,
they at times might believe in you more than you believe in yourself.
And that is exactly the case with him. His great training partner, Micah Haas, they're both flyweights. They've actually both fought Alex Rego. Micah Haas 6-0 as a professional. He credits a lot of his success to Juan Rosales, and that's because they train together day in and out. They do MMA training together. They spar together. They do it all. So they have each other's back, and there they are walking out together. Micah Haas, Coach Jake, Mike Schultz, and the rest of the squad. Brandon Gertz, Peter Straub. He's got just a star corner.
Absolutely, and one thing that I always appreciate about your Genesis crew is show up and show out.
Yeah.
As far as the support from your crowd or from the camp, whenever there is a Genesis fighter on any card, it doesn't matter if there's one or if there's half the card filled with Genesis fighters, you guys come out and support. So
yeah.
I give my unwavering respect to you guys for supporting what we do, because we cannot make our lives and our events happen across whatever the discipline may be, whether it's pro grappling, or Thai, MMA. We can't do that without you folks. And now for the official introductions.
This fight is
These guys are staring each other down. This is going to be exciting.
You can cut the tension with a knife.
This is
Juan got some good fight trumps.
This is going to be a good one.
Representing Factory X, Alex
And Rego kind of had a rough start to his pro career, but it looks like he's strung some wins together, so he's finding his groove in the cage. Let's see what he does, what adjustments he can make.
wins one loss, standing 5 foot 8 feet, 8 inches tall, weighing in at 100.
A little bit more emotion on the face of Rego, though, as opposed to Juan.
Yeah, I think for Rego, it's more of he wants to get this one back. And for Juan, I think he just wants to make a statement that, hey, I did it once and I'll do it again, So let's see what happens here.
Very well said.
Let's have a great fight. Take stuff on all kinds. Obey my command. Question blue. Question one. Let's go.
I feel like it's certainly got to be a duality, right? Because on one end, when you're the guy who lost, you want to get that lick back. You've got the motivation.
For sure.
That gets you out of bed. But on the flip side, I feel the guy who finished someone else, sometimes like, bro, I already beat you.
Yeah.
So that could present some complications, but Juan has a great crew around him that I think helped keep him aligned mentally so that didn't ever even factor in.
Yeah, I think he's ready to go, and looks like a little low blow, but Rego wants to keep it going. Juan's looking to go back to the leg attack that he did from the previous fight. Nice combination by Juan. I'll say this, Rego is doing much better at making those low kicks miss this time around. Oh, Juan's big swing by Juan. I love watching the flyweights fight, man. It's so exciting. They can go non-stop. They bring the pace, the pressure. It's very exciting to watch these guys throw down.
Especially both of these guys because they're volume guys.
Yeah.
They're not going to be more of a, sometimes even at flyweight you have very wrestle-heavy style guys that will, I don't want to disrespect it by saying lay and pray, but let's call it for what it is.
Yeah.
We'll use more of a grapple-heavy approach. These guys are volume strikers.
Definitely.
Even though they both got years upon years, decades, if you will, of grappling experience, they want to mix it up on the feet.
Yeah, definitely. And so far, nobody shot for a takedown. They're both swinging. Oh. There's the first takedown attempt from Rego. He gets it. Let's see it. Juan's back up to his feet, but right back down.
Rego looking to secure the back position. Juan hand fighting, pushing the wrists down toward his waist, looking to scrape his shoulders toward the mat.
Yeah, I think this was smart by Rego. It looked like Juan was starting to pick it up in the striking, and he was able to level change on him and switch it up. So I think that was smart by Rego.
Agreed.
Well, let's see how Juan works out of this.
Body triangle secured up against the fence for Rego.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to get out of because really he wants to roll over to the other side to put that lock on the ground and start working out that way. But if he rolls that way, he's going to be stuck possibly between the cage. Rego, it looks like he's attacking the neck pretty hard.
Rego does have the bottom arm down across the chin. It's more of a crank versus anything. Juan is doing a good job of keeping 2-on-1, trying to work the defense. Has the body triangle down on the mat now, taking some pressure off of that lock. Starting to get his hips a little bit free, and good adjustment by Rego to get the body triangle back on top, but the choke is no longer in the grip.
The thing with the body triangle is, it's early in the first round, and if he doesn't get the finish, there could be a chance that he burns his legs out. And then in the second and third, that could play a huge factor.
You're totally right. You are absolutely right that fatigue could be a factor with the legs. One thing that does work in Rego's favor, though, is for this weight class, dimensionally, his limbs are long.
Yeah, not as much pressure to hold that lock, definitely.
Exactly. He has the longer legs, so it's a little bit easier to wrap, and he can almost, at points, if he has if they're hand fighting up top, he can just kind of anchor his lock as opposed to a full squeeze.
Yeah.
Whereas then, okay, Juan starts to burst. All right, then now I'm going to squeeze.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And you see him doing that. He's got the body triangle pretty tight. This is going to be hard to get out of. So I think maybe you just keep scrambling if you're Juan.
The rudder leg also makes it really difficult for Juan to defend.
Yeah.
The rudder leg off of the bottom, because it makes it difficult for Juan to try to spin back down to get the lock on the bottom half. Juan is doing a good job of letting his torso slide lower on Rego's, which diminishes the threat of the choke. Rego's hips are starting to get really high. He's going to have some sort of reset if he wants to be in threat for the choke. Juan, tremendous presence of defense right now, because this has been a very dangerous spot to be with somebody on your back with a body triangle for multiple minutes. Impressed by the presence and the awareness of the defense from where the threats are. Yeah, great defense by Juan, and I think this is one of those rounds where like he might not get out of this, so he's just got to stay active and keep making Rego work to hold that body triangle. Just can't make this mistake.
Yeah, you can't let Rego under your neck, man. Can't let Rego under your neck.
Peel the gable grip.
10-second clacker. So now we get to see how this affects Rego starting the second round. He clearly won the first round. Juan jumps right back up to his feet fresh. Let's see how Rego looks coming out here in a second.
Derek Grenier and Corey Galloway in the corner for Alex Rego.
You got Coach Jake and Peter Schraub instructing Juan right now. I believe they want him to take the center of the cage and keep that. I would imagine that Juan is going to start this second round a little bit stronger than the first round to try and force a takedown out of Rego.
I would think that's you already hit on it. What I was going to say to that is there's a pro and a con to coming out hot, right?
Yeah.
Because you might bring just enough pressure to walk yourself into a takedown.
Yeah.
It's not that you were doing anything necessarily wrong, but just a well-timed level change from the opposition could be just enough of what it is to get the takedown.
Yeah, and obviously Rego is a stud wrestler, so I mean, he knows what he's doing when he gets to the legs.
Beautiful tight knee right there.
He hurt him.
Rosales.
He hurt him. He's hurting him here. Legs. He's back on the legs, but that knee to the body was devastating.
Rego's trying to recover right now. He's on his bike.
Yeah, Juan needs to keep attacking. He can't let him reset here. Rego's going to look for that takedown here soon, I'd imagine. Beautiful knee.
Right there.
I think Rego's hurt.
Rosales is starting to unload. It might be all over.
Rego is hurt.
Rego on the ground is looking to try to recover.
Good job tying him up and kind of giving himself a minute to recover. He's looking like he wants to set up that triangle. Juan needs to posture up out of here. Oh, there you go. He gets his arms through.
I mean, in this case, in terms of preservation, the beneficiary of having Tim Mills as the third man, because a lot of fights might have been stopped.
Rego's fishing for that triangle. And Juan is out. He's in half guard. Nice elbows by Juan. He's got great head position. He's just keeping it right under his chin, making it really hard for Rego to get around that and attack something. But there it is. He sticks his head right back under his chin.
And doing enough to stay active as well. Body, head from the top.
Honestly, it would probably be better if he could get it to go back to the feet, get a stand-up, because Rego was hurt to the body, and those body shots take a lot longer to recover from than the head shots. So.
And this is also where Rego is the most dangerous.
Definitely. Juan fishing for the arm triangle. Wow. That would be impressive. Rego's bleeding from his ear, it looks like, from some of those elbows that he got hit with.
Probably some aggressive cauliflower.
Now Rego needs to get a takedown here.
Rego offers his own knee in the process, looking to grab the single leg, running the pike, gets to a body lock off of the fence.
Juan needs to fight back up immediately here.
Juan with a little bit of a head and arm kind of himself from my angle off of the fence, bag down.
Yeah, Rego pops out on the back. He cannot let him get the body triangle again. Oh, no.
That's the risk when you start scrambling with a grappler like Rego.
He's got his arm tied up, so it's going to be a little bit harder to fight out of. He's got to keep fighting those hands, though. He's still got one hand. He's got to keep fighting it. Oh, wow. Alex Rego with the rear naked choke.
Rear naked choke for Alex Rego.
Hey, man, very impressive job by Alex Rego. Coming back from almost getting finished to getting a finish of his own. Juan Rosales was looking very good there. He just ended up getting taken down, and it's a tough one.
Well, I will say this, Art. I know that, it's always tough to make a fight right after a fight, but there is a trilogy that's on the table between these guys at some point in time if they choose to do so.
Yeah, I think a trilogy would make sense. I think maybe you let them go, get a couple fights in, and then bring them back and have them do it again.
I totally agree.
Look at Rego, very emotional because this was a fight that, he wanted back, and honestly, it looked like Juan was going to get the finish again, and Rego pulls through. A lot of heart shown by Rego. Props to both of these guys, man. They're both studs. Juan Rosales, absolute stud. Rego just showed a little bit of that veteran game where, regardless of what happens in there, he's going to keep fighting.
Yeah, all the due credit in the world goes to Juan Rosales for that effort that he had. I mean, comes out and knew that he needed to make an adjustment in that second round by throwing these to try to avoid those bad grappling sequences. Find success.
Yeah.
Now to our official ruling.
By rear naked choke submission in the blue corner, Alex
Fans calling for the trilogy.
Hey, it was already written. Maktub, my friend.